So we will call tonight's meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman DeWatt,
Here.
Councilman Mitchell,
Here.
Councilman Sidnor,
Here.
Councilman Cole,
Present.
Mayor Mo.
Here. All right, agenda item number 3, we have possible adjournment to closed session to consult with legal counsel. Or should we adjourn to that now, or do we want to move on?
Let me send you real quick, Councilman Cole, the closed session statement that we have to read before.
I have that open.
Okay, you do. Yeah, if you could go ahead and read that. And then we'd have to get a motion to go into closed session.
Thank you. The reason for adjourning to a closed session is to consult with the counsel to obtain legal advice. The authority for this closed session is contained in the general provisions article subsection 3-305B subsection 7. Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, can we do regular business first and then go to closed session afterwards?
I'm fine with that. Other thoughts from the council?
We were expecting another attorney on that could only make it in the beginning. I don't know if that's still the case or not.
Okay. Gotcha. Is he there?
I don't know, Keith. I'm on with you right now, so.
Gotcha.
Does anybody know? I think we should stick to the meeting since we do have to jump to a separate Zoom link. We'll move to that and then come back.
Okay,
I
yeah,
make
so we-
recommendation. I'm sorry.
go ahead, Councilman Sidnor, I'm sorry.
The city solicitor is on. I'll let him go first.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, just let you know, there will not be another attorney on for the closed session today. I'll be briefing the council.
With that said, Mr. President, can we just amend that order and go do the closed session after the business of the council first?
If Mr. Taub is okay with that, that's fine by me.
That's fine. No problem.
All right, we will move that to the end of business. Agenda item number 4, report of the mayor and city council. Mr. Mitchell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me pull it up. March 26th, I went to District 21 night for our District 21 team in Annapolis. On the 28th of March, I went to the Rent is Too Damn High rally and hearing for the Home Act in Montgomery County. And then on the 29th, I visited SunMed. On the 1st, I went to the county executive's briefing with Tom Denoga's office. And so she updated a lot of the constituents on her budget priorities. March 30th, I spoke about rent stabilization efforts with Bowie Public Access Television. On the 1st, I went to the Prince George's Housing Coalition meeting. It was held in another city in Prince George's this time. It was at Greenbelt at Spring Hill Lake Apartment Center, which is one of the biggest apartments communities in the East Coast. I went to Palm Sunday service at Grace to Grace Center on this April 2nd. On April 5th, I went to the Bowie Bic networking event at Love Life Coffee on the 7th. I went to Grace and Temple's style and helped 2 Laurel High School kids get fitted for prom because I'm working with Temple to donate tuxedos to a few students who couldn't afford or weren't in a situation to go to prom had they not had the new outfits. On the 8th, I went to the Charisma Food Bank. I was joined by Councilmember DeWalt. He was working hard, sweating over there. I went to the Easter egg hunt at the Harley Davidson Center with the kids, and then also went to the Easter egg hunt and brunch at the Beltsville Fire Department later that day I went to Cake Corner to celebrate the 50th celebration with Diane and Shorty. And then I went to the church service April 9th, yesterday at Glorious Praise Chapel International Church. And then I attended a few receptions this early afternoon at Sign and Die. And that is the conclusion of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. Councilman DeWalt?
Good evening, everyone. On Wednesday, the 29th, I went to the virtual meeting held by Tom Dernoga, and his special guest was Angela also Brooks, and they went over the budget. It was probably about 2 hours long, but it was very, very educational, and you learn a lot when you see other people working on their budgets. On the 30th, I handed out with a large group at Laurel Elementary, Brighter Bites, which is 150 bags of fresh fruits and vegetables to family in need around the Laurel Elementary School area. On the 31st, it's a Friday, so I'm usually done at the American Legion, and I was this on the 31st, volunteering for bingo. It's one of their top fundraisers, and it was packed down there. I want all our constituents to remember No Mow April. It's getting tough. I got some really high grass, but I got flowers I've never seen before, and that's supposed to be great for the bees. So we got the rest of April before we're allowed to cut our grass. And then again, on the 2nd, I went down with a Laurel for the Tucson people down at the Legion down by the river they planted a lot of plants down there. We did some weeding, some very hard weeding, and they planted a lot of plants down there, and it's looking very good down there. Again, on the 7th, that other Friday, again, I was down at the Legion volunteering for bingo. And then on the 8th, like Councilmember Mitchell said, we both were at that Grace to Grace giveaway center where they were giving out food, and they got a big, huge warehouse there where they store the food, and they give a lot of food away, bags of potatoes, onions, and things like that. And they do anywhere from 100 to 125 vehicles that pull up in front. That concludes my report, Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. DeWalt. Councilman Sidnor? Sorry, Councilman Sidnor, you're muted.
Thank you. On March 31st, I attended the Laurel Lake Senior Expo. Then on April the 6th, I attended a site visit at Prosperity Urgent Care Clinic here in Laurel. They just opened up a couple of months ago, so they gave me a site visit there. And then I'm gonna do a little bragging right now. I'm an assistant coach on the track team for 100 Black Men in Prince George County, and we mentor youth throughout the county. And we had a 200 race. All the kids was running, and I wanted to beat their time, and I beat their time with 33 seconds around the track with 200 meters. So I still can run. And then on Easter, I was invited by Pastor Brent to the First Baptist Church of Laurel for Easter service. That concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sidnor. Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I want to say happy Easter to everybody. Easter was celebrated all across the nation. I visited several churches. I won't name them all, but I'm just happy to be amongst fellowship. You know, we've been through this pandemic. It's pretty good to be inside some buildings without someone wearing masks, but feeling comfortable and vulnerable and intimate again in the church service. I'd like to congratulate my sister, who had my first niece last week. I got the chance to run up to Connecticut and help out with my nephews and my family while she was giving birth. So congrats to her and her husband. And that will conclude my report.
Congratulations, Mr. Smith. I'll go next. I wanted to thank everybody for the well wishes after the last meeting while I was in quarantine. On March 30th, I attended the Laurel High School LGBTQ plus student organization to speak with them about their ideas for Laurel Pride and ways that they can be involved. On April 1st, I attended Parks and Recreation's extravaganza at Goody Lake. I did enjoy that they changed how things were done this year. Instead of 5 minutes, it lasted 15, even with the rainy weather. On April the 2nd, I attended the fire department's monthly breakfast. On the 5th of April, I attended the Laurel Patuxent. We were working behind the Laurel Museum, spreading native grass seed to help stabilize the soil in that work area. On Friday the 7th, I participated in St. Mark's Variety Dinner Sale. If you get a chance to participate in that in the next month, the food is always delicious. This past Saturday, Parks and Recreation hosted a river cleanup at Riverfront Park. It was great to see that there was not much trash there. I believe this is the 5th cleanup in about 2 months. The next cleanup from Parks and Recreation will be on Earth Day at 10 a.m. at the Laurel Lakes. That concludes my report. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Couple things. First, hopefully everyone had a happy Easter, and I too attended the reception at the 21st delegation in Annapolis. I was in Annapolis earlier this morning, making sure some things were taken care of. It looks like within the document, the city will receive another 2.5 million for the multi-service center, and I'm very happy to report looks to be about 1.2 million in the dam ruins, which is badly needed funds to stabilize that and make sure that piece of history continues in Laurel. The extravaganza, let me thank Park and Rec's staff for all the work they did. And let me thank the Laurel Lions that were there. They've helped sponsor this with the city for many years, and they did a great job. And again, I want to acknowledge and thank the Laurel Lions Club. I did attend the Patuxent River cleanup. I want to thank all those volunteers that came out. As you heard, it was pretty clean, but there were still areas that we were able to pick up some trash in, and some students were also there to get their service time. So we were happy to do that. This evening, I did have my first my time with the mayor, and I appreciate staff being there as well, and residents that were there at the center as well. Hopefully we at the next one can have a few more members of the community and bring us their concerns. The last thing I just want to mention, you hear us all the time, it looks very nice out, which people want to get out, they want to drive their cars, it's more traffic, they want to walk, there's more pedestrians. I want to remind everyone to slow down when you're in the in the city or wherever you're at, do the speed limit. And I really want to remind those individuals, because I saw it the other day, when our trash trucks are stopped, you should be stopped. There's no reason why you can't wait until they signal you to come around. And if there's no room to do that, please provide them the opportunity, and please stay back away from the trucks and try not to go around them.
Okay,
The
I need to take this.
couple of announcements. There'll be April the 15th. There's electronics recycling and paper shredding and green drop and styrofoam event at the Department of Public Works. It's at 8 a.m. It starts. You'll need ID to make sure that you're a city resident. On April the 19th, we're having the volunteer Laurel Fair at 6 o'clock. Learn about volunteer opportunities that local government has to offer. That event will be here at the Municipal Center. And then on the 22nd, as you heard, Earth Day cleanup at 10 a.m. at Granville Goody Park. Mr. President, I do have one appointment, if that's okay to move forward with that appointment.
Yes, sir.
I have Nicole Gore for the Pride Day Celebration Committee. I'd ask for your concurrence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve Nicole Gore as to the Pride Committee.
And do I have a
Second.
second? Thank you. Madam Clerk, we have a first and a second. Can you please call the roll?
Sure. Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
Councilman DeWatt,
Yes.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Agenda item number 6 is general public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, the first person that we have is Holly Hoagland. I'm getting ready to allow her to speak real quick.
All right. I will open the general public hearing at 6:17 p.m. As a reminder, each member of the public has 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Hoagland, whenever you are ready.
Hi, my name is Holly Hoagland. I've been a resident of Old Town Laurel since 1983. And I'd like to express my support for the amendments proposed to our plastic bag ban. I've been so impressed with my city over the years by the forward-thinking environmental measures it has successfully enacted, like the single-stream curbside recycling, which we began long before most other communities that I know of. Another example is the pilot composting program, which I believe might soon be expanded. And I cheered when Laurel banned the use of plastic bags from retail. Data has shown that after the plastic bag ban, while the use of plastic bags obviously plummeted, 68% of the shoppers at four Laurel grocery stores were now using paper bags. This indicates a positive change, but we really need to incentivize shoppers to switch to bringing their own reusable bags rather than just switching to paper bags. Paper bags tend to be one use, cost the stores more to provide, and have their own upstream environmental impact. Communities such as Baltimore City with a 5-cent charge on paper show that this does not always get the shopper's attention. But a 10-cent charge for paper does incentivize consumers to be more conscious of bringing their own bags to the store. Hopefully, we can meet the scale of PG County, Aldi, and Lidl, where 94% of the shoppers were shown to bring their own bags or use no bag when exiting the store. The Maryland communities of Easton, Salisbury, Baltimore County, and College Park have enacted a 10-cent charge on paper. Greenbelt and Hyattsville are seriously considering the same thing. I hope we can soon join them in promoting this change in consumer behavior. We will just automatically remember to bring our own shopping bags to the store, and it will become second nature. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hoagland. Madam Clerk, is there anyone else signed up to speak this evening?
We have 2 other speakers that are signed up, but they're for the same item, but they're under the agenda item, unless you want to ask them to speak now.
We can leave them under the agenda item.
Okay.
All right, having no further speakers, I will close the general public hearing at 6:19 p.m. Agenda item number 7, consideration of bid recommendation for fleet acquisition for the purchase of a Ford 2020 Transit van for the Department of Parks and Recreation Senior Van Service. Director Lee of Public Works, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Pro Tem, Mayor, and Council members. The Department of Public Works is requesting approval for the purchase of the 2020 Ford Transit passenger van as reported out at the work session. This vehicle will be utilized as a part of the city van fleet necessary to continue to provide transport services for seniors in our city. The selected bid was from Academy Ford in the amount of $49,935. It is recommended that the purchase of this vehicle for a total cost of $49,935 be approved to Academy Ford of Laurel, and I'm here to answer any more questions.
Thank you, Director Lee. Are there any questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
And Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the Academy Ford of Laurel for the bid of $49,935.
Thank you. And the
Second
second,
that.
thank you, Mr. Smith. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Just one real quick sentence on that about Academy Ford, Mr. Pro Tem. It's great to hear that Academy Ford, I know we go to Apple Ford a lot up in Columbia, but they're close. but Academy 4 is as close as you can get to the city. I think across the street, you're in the city. To the right of them, you might be in the city. I can't remember, but it's close enough. And it's great to see that Academy 4 is getting some of our bids because they are definitely Laurel. I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
Councilman Cole,
Yes,
Councilman Mitchell.
I don't believe he's on the meeting anymore.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Okay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Agenda item number 8, consideration of bid recommendation for video detection systems at 3 intersections. Again, Director Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Pro Tem, Mayor, and council members. Again, as reported out at the work session, this request is for the sole source purchase approval for a total of 11 vision detection cameras from Econolight Control Products at the following intersections. Cherry Lane and 4th Street will get 3 cameras. Cherry Lane and Asher Boulevard, 4 cameras. And Van Duzen and Kilbourne Drive / Olive Branch Way, 4 cameras. In the future, the vision of these cameras that we're requesting can also be used for vehicle detection, bicycle detection, advanced vehicle detection, traffic data collection, HD video surveillance. These capabilities will immensely upgrade and enhance the city's remote capacity, real-time traffic management, and bring us in line with the state and surrounding counties on sharing and correlating traffic data. I was asked by Councilmember Sidnor, I believe, whether this was artificial intelligence. It's actually an algorithm program that uses data synthesis and real-time analytics through 5 different software fleets for the company. So it's not exactly AI, but it does use enough combined stuff to do some data quality tracking, and the videos allow a real-time assessment, and that's sort of what the whole package is. Econolight is our current contract and leading manufacturer for traffic signal equipment, and their video detection system meets the Maryland DOT standards and is the sole source for all manufacturing cells and software maintenance agreements for the video detection products, cabinets, and controllers with MDDOT specifications. DPW is recommending approval of the purchase of the camera and wiring service from Econolight products in the amount of $76,570 for the hardware and upgrades, and an additional $18,471.25 for the replacement process, testing, necessary wiring services. The total cost for this project is $95,041.25, and the funding is provided for in the adopted FY 2023 general operating budget and CIP traffic signalization project and traffic signals maintenance. Thank you, and I'm available if you have any more questions.
Thank you, Director. Are there any more questions or comments from the council?
I have a question, Mr. Pro Tem.
Go ahead, Mr. DeWalt.
Mr. Lee, what's the how was the purpose of picking those 3 intersections and not any other intersections? I know 2 of them are very close to each other, and the other one isn't that far away from them either. And why were those 3 locations picked?
It was due to our traffic study, our traffic volume, and there are going to be others. As you may recognize, we have an ongoing traffic upgrade of all of our signal systems. So this is just a start for these. We will eventually upgrade all of them in the upcoming budgets.
In a layman's term, what exactly does this technology detect, or what's the purpose of it?
In layman's terms, if you go on a lot of the wider channels, you'll see as they're tracking weather and traffic at a lot of major intersections and highways around the region. This will allow us to do that better. And more importantly, if you recall, in the winter, we had a horrible accident that shut down one of the major intersections. And it took us a while to get everything back online with coordination with the state, the county, and the BG&E. For the utilities. This will better coordinate that, give real-time data, and be able to reroute emergency equipment better as we're watching the traffic flow at when anything happens at those intersections.
Where exactly will the monitoring that traffic flow? Where will that come from? Can you do it from a city computer, or how does that work?
Great question. Yes, we can. So we can hook that up, and we will be hooking that up to monitors here at DPW.
Thank
So
you.
that's another, it's gonna be another specific duty to some member or members of DPW to monitor that if there's a tragic incident that occurs in those intersections.
Yes, and we've already identified whose office it's going to go into. We sort of do that to the best of our ability now. As I reported out, this will greatly enhance that. And yes, we do have the office identified who will be monitoring that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from the council? I'll piggyback on Councilman DeWalt's. Is this similar to what they have in like DC where they have live cameras that you can log into from any web browser as a member of the public, or is this something that will be just city services?
I have not talked to IT about the web browser for all of the public as of yet. As of right now, it'll be a city monitored operation. I can definitely check that out.
Thank you. If there are no further questions from the council, I'll entertain a motion.
I mean, since you brought that question up, Councilman Cole,
Okay.
I think it should stay citywide, not citywide, but just for city employees, for now. But if that's the case, that's why I recommend just something that we can monitor as a city. But other than that, though, I vote yes to approve Econo Life $95,041.25.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Cole.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Agenda item number 9, a consideration for bid recommendation for a radio grant purchase of 27 Motorola Next Generation N70 Public Safety Radios. Director of Department of Information and Technology, James Cornwall Shield, you have the floor.
Thank you, Councilman Cole, Council President Smith, council members, and Mayor Mo. The Department of Information Technology is seeking the council's approval of a bid recommendation for the purchase of 27 next-gen Motorola N70 public safety radios and all appropriate accessories for the total amount of $199,919.08. These radios will have full interoperability with existing radios and the rest of the county radio network, and will provide a wide variety of critical features, including connection resilience through the use of Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity, in addition to traditional radio connectivity. The vendor for this purchase is Motorola Solutions in Beltsville, Maryland. And thanks to the efforts of Senator Van Hollen, funding for this project is provided in full by a Department of Justice Burn Justice Assistance Grant for up to $200,000. We are available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Director. Any questions or comments from the council? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid recommendation.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Councilman DeWalt.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid recommendation by Mr. Cornwall Shea.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Cole.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Agenda item number 10, introduction and first public hearing of ordinance number 2009, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, granting a non-exclusive cable television franchise to Comcast of Maryland, LLC, to construct, operate, and maintain a cable system within the city of Laurel, Maryland, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 5 of the Laurel City Code, and to approve the cable franchise agreement. Again, Director Cornwall-Shield, you have the floor.
Thank you again, Councilman Cole. Council, Mayor Mo. The Department of Information Technology is seeking the council's approval of the Comcast franchise agreement before you. This franchise agreement between the City of Laurel and Comcast is the result of nearly a decade of negotiations involving the city's prior CIO, Kevin Frost, our legal counsel, and our counterparts in PG County, as well as 26 other PG municipalities, who have worked tirelessly together to ensure that the terms of this agreement are as favorable as possible for us and our residents. The franchise agreement outlines the terms of operation for the next 10 years, including service expansion, PEG fund contributions, service to municipal buildings, and consumer protections and services. If approved, the settlement agreement will be effective July 1st, 2023. We have Kevin Frost and myself available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Director. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak on this issue?
No, there's not.
All right. Do I need to open public hearing on this one?
Yeah, I would.
I will open general public hearing on ordinance number 2009 at 6:32 p.m. and I will close the general public hearing at 6:32 p.m. Are there any questions or comments from the council? All right, hearing no questions or comments from the council, this item will again be on the agenda on the Monday, April 24th meeting at 6 p.m. Agenda item number 11, introduction and first public hearing of ordinance number 2008, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland, to amend chapter 9 miscellaneous provisions and offenses to modify article 10 disposable plastic bags to prohibit disposable plastic bags from being provided to customers and retail establishments at the point of sale, and to provide for penalties for the violation of this ordinance. Our environmental programs manager, Ms. Blair, you have the floor.
Thank you. I believe I answered the questions and explained the background to this ordinance. This is an updated ordinance of 1977, which fills in the gaps, better defines reusable, and focuses on reducing the use of single-use bags of any kind. I'm here to answer any additional questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Ms. Blair. I will open the general public hearing at 6:34 p.m. Ms. Green, is there anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, Mr. President, we have the next person on the list is Brendan Mahoney, and I will let him speak now.
Thank you. Mr. Mahoney, you have the floor whenever you are in.
Awesome. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
You can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm Brendan Mahoney. I represent the Restaurant Association of Maryland and our members with Laurel locations. We're respectfully requesting amendments to exempt food service facilities from this piece of legislation. The proposed bag fee would be extremely problematic for industry. As we understand it, the goal of the bag fee is to incentivize folks to bring their own reusable bag, and this doesn't work for restaurants because reusable bags pose legitimate food safety concerns. Because of potential cross-contamination risks associated with reusable bags that might have been used at a grocery store to carry raw meat, raw fish, or other retail goods, and they hadn't been sanitized properly after, our restaurant members generally refuse to put ready-to-eat bags or ready-to-eat food into customer-provided reusable bags because they don't want to be risked for potential foodborne illness caused by cross-contamination. So since there is no alternative to paper at that point, a bag fee for a customer would become punitive because they don't have an option to opt out of using the paper bag. And then also we've seen in fast food restaurants where this would be extremely problematic is where crew members typically don't bag the order until after the customer has already paid. Cashier doesn't always know how many bags an order will require ahead of time. So they'd merely be guessing, and it would be very tough for our restaurant members to be compliant with the legislation. Then Further, for dining customers, sometimes at higher end restaurants, they close out the check and they might want a doggy bag after they've already paid. It'd make it appear as if we're nickel and diming our customers if a server went back and subsequently asked for a 10-cent bag fee on a large check. And then in conclusion, many jurisdictions have passed similar laws as this ordinance, but most of them have made various types of exemptions for restaurants. Currently, Prince George's County Council is considering a bill that would ban plastic and require a 10-cent fee for paper reusable bags. However, at the hearing that they have this Thursday in front of their committee, they are considering an amendment that would exempt food service facilities from the paper bag fees. So we'd ask that the Laurel Council monitors this county's legislation, because only to avoid confusion amongst our members and also the public, we'd like to seek some type of uniformity across the county. And for those reasons, we're respectfully requesting a full exemption for restaurants and food service facilities from this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Mahoney, for your testimony. Madam Clerk, is there anyone else signed up to speak?
Yes, Mr. President, we have Ms. Martha Ainsworth, and I will let her speak now.
Thank you. Ms. Ainsworth, you have the floor.
Can you hear me now? Oh, okay.
Yes,
Good
we can.
afternoon. Good evening, Mayor Mo, President Smith, and members of the County Council. I'm Martha Ainsworth, Chair of the Prince George's Sierra Club's Zero Waste Team, speaking in support of Ordinance 2008 on behalf of the Prince George's Sierra Club's members and supporters. First, we'd like to congratulate the City of Laurel for leading the way in reducing plastic pollution in Prince George's County by passing your ban on plastic carryout bags in 2021. Thank you. According to surveys that our Sierra Club volunteers have done at the 4 main grocery stores in Laurel in 2019, at that time, 87% of your shoppers were taking single-use plastic carryout bags. Following your ban, that statistic has dropped to 0.4%. Without the plastic bag ban, it's estimated Laurel residents would be using more than 10 million plastic carryout bags annually. Your action has likely prevented millions of plastic bags from getting into the environment, and we thank you. However, the plastic bag ban has been less successful in getting shoppers to switch to reusable bags. After the plastic bag ban, the reusable bag use increased from 5% of shoppers to only 14%. More than 2/3 of the grocery shoppers, 68%, switched to single-use paper bags. While paper bags decompose in the environment, there are large upstream environmental costs in their production. The felling of millions of trees, use of toxic chemicals, air and water pollution, and health effects on nearby communities. After they're used, paper bags generally enter our growing waste stream. They cost 4 to 5 times more than plastic bags, and the cost is being passed on to consumers as part of the retailer's overhead and the price of merchandise. So this new updated ordinance will incentivize shoppers to bring their own bag by adding a minimum charge of 10 cents for alternative carryout bags that's collected and retained by the retailer. Putting a visible price on carryout bags will change shopper behavior in favor of bringing a carryout bag or not using one. Retail stores like Aldi and Lidl charge 8 to 12 cents for paper bags as part of their business model. More than 90% of shoppers in Prince George's County at those chains bring a reusable bag or don't take a bag at all. So this new ordinance also introduces a definition of reusable bag that will prevent retailers from simply providing thicker plastic carryout bags. The existing ordinance bans carryout bags less than 4 mils thick, which is 4/1000ths of an inch. But across the country and in Maryland, retailers have worked around the intent of the law by providing thicker plastic carryout bags, and that includes Baltimore City and the City of Westminster. So Ordinance 2008 uses a new definition of reusable bag that avoids that thickness standard. To conclude, the policy model represented in this updated ordinance is recognized as a best practice for reducing plastic pollution and changing shopper behavior. It's adopted already by Baltimore, College Park, Easton, and Salisbury. It will remove a hidden cost. Shoppers who take carryout bags will pay for them, and shoppers who bring their own bag will not. With a strong communications campaign and availability of reusable bags to those in need, everyone can participate in the behavior change and its environmental benefits. So we urge you to adopt Ordinance 2008, and thank you. Glad to answer any questions about our surveys.
Thank you, Ms. Ainsworth. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
No, that was it.
With no other speakers, I will close the general.
Mr. President, I got a couple of questions before you close.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is basic question. The paper bags that the store use right now, are they recyclable? Ms. Blair? You're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, they can be recycled.
Okay.
In our recycling stream, if residents put them in, yes.
Okay, got you. And I concur with Mr. Mahoney. I don't want to see reusable bags going inside a restaurant, but it seems like a contradiction that, you know, we say we can't have plastic bags in the city because they're not biodegradable, and then we allow plastic bags in the restaurant and not in the store. So that's just something we really had to think about. I do support what we're doing right now, banning plastic bags throughout the city, but the restaurants, I understand that people want to carry food out, and you said the paper bags are not steadier enough to carry food in, but once again, it'd be a contradiction of us to have one plastic bags and it's not in the store, but have plastic bags in the restaurant. And I understand your concerns, but that's something that got to investigate more. I just want to add those comments on the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Sidor. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:43 and then open it up to questions from the council. Are there other questions?
Yeah, I had a couple questions. I guess it was for Mr. Mahoney. I to better understand the opposition, I heard a sanitation issue, punitive punishment, and then I believe I also heard the high-end restaurant. And so I just wanted to make sure. Oh, and then the fourth one being uniformity with the county's consideration. So I just want to make sure that those were the four. And I guess my other question was for Martha from Sierra Club. She went through it very quickly, but I was just trying to better understand how we decreased the footprint since the ban, because I did hear a couple figures. I think like 10 million might have been the number, but I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how we've decreased our footprint since 2021. And then my last question was, are there compostable bags? Is there such a thing as compostable bags? I know I've seen the straws.
Mm-hmm. So I can answer the compostable bags. So we do have compostable bags that we use in our compost, but that is not included in the plastic bag. They're not, compostable bags are not the exception. The only time we use compostable bags is for our curbside compost collection.
Understood. I know I saw Brendan hop in there, so if he wants to confirm that.
Mr. Mahoney, can you please respond?
Yes, so those are our, some of our main concerns, and I'd be happy to follow up after this meeting, just in a written letter that kind of outlines some of the concerns that our members have brought up in regards to the bag fee, but you hit the main 4 points right on.
And do you guys see a middle ground, or I guess some type of middle road where you guys can still decrease the footprint, help the use of plastic, I guess, without going this route?
Yeah, absolutely. Many of our members have already made the switch to paper, and in Laurel, I believe the original ordinance, they all switched successfully to paper, so they're able to do that. But the bag fee is just extremely problematic for them. They would just want to seek an exemption from the bag fee in particular for restaurants.
Okay, I'm clear. And then I guess my last question was for Martha. She is still on. about the decreasing the footprint.
Thank you. Ms. Ainsworth, are you available?
I am here. I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes. hear you
Okay,
perfectly.
great. So we also submitted written testimony to you. And we have some pie charts before and after the impact, before and after your plastic bag ban. It's Exhibit 1. And it shows that before the ban, 87% of the shoppers at those 4 grocery stores, I'm talking Food Lion, Giant, Harris Teeter, and Shoppers, the 4 big ones that were handing out free plastic bags, 87% were using plastic carryout bags, and only 5% had any reusable bag. But after the ban went into effect, fewer than 1% had plastic bags coming out of the stores. Those would be things they probably brought in with them and took out. But 2/3 of the shoppers, more than 2/3, 68% were taking paper bags, free paper bags, that so-called, I'm putting in quotes, so-called free paper bags. So only 14% were using a reusable bag after the fact. So it was very successful in banning the plastic pollution, but not successful in getting people to switch their behavior to bringing their own bag. So instead, they're using a lot of paper bags, a huge number of paper bags that are also single-use waste. Even if they can be recycled, they're single-use waste. There's a lot of upstream environmental impacts in the manufacture of paper bags. And so this ordinance addresses that issue of trying to get people to switch to reusable bags from these single-use bags by making it essentially costly you have to essentially buy a paper bag if you want one. And if you don't want one, you bring your own and you don't pay. So that's pretty much the idea behind it. And it is considered a best practice. We've been trying to get bag legislation in Prince George's County in the state since 2011. And this is definitely the most effective policy you can have. And you've already started from that base of having the plastic bag ban. And now the next step is to get people to think about reuse instead of single use. And
I appreciate that. And I would definitely make sure to review your statement. Ms. Martha, thank you so much. And James, I guess this question is for the administration. Do we know how many restaurants are in city limits, operating restaurants?
Ms. Blair, do you have that statistic?
No, I don't, but I'd be happy to get it for you. What I do want to point out is that we will have a very robust education system program going forward. We will reach out as we did. We have many better methods to reach out to our restaurants and all our retailers once this comes on board from when we rolled this out in 2021. So we will be reaching out to them on a one-by-one basis. But I can get that information for you and send it through.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know Laurel's a restaurant haven, so I know we got a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. Are there other questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I just want to follow up, Mr. President, Mr. Mahoney. I think I was a little confused on your testimony. Are you saying that, I understand what you said about the reuse bags not coming to the restaurant. I'd like to get that loud and clear. I guess every restaurant right now inside the city of Laurel, they're not supposed to be using plastic bags, right? So you say you want to waive the 10 cents. So what bags are y'all using now that you know of inside the city of Laurel?
Yeah, absolutely. So our members are currently using various types of paper bags.
Okay. So you basically saying that you don't want us to charge, you don't want your restaurant to charge them 10 cents. What bag would you use if they don't use a paper bag?
Yeah, so they would use the paper bags in lieu of reusable bags. Our restaurant members don't allow customers to use reusable bags because of the cross-contamination risk. They don't want to be potentially blamed for foodborne illness. So they would want to seek an exemption from charging the fee because there's no alternative to the paper that they're currently using.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I see that Ms. Ainsworth, you have your hand raised.
Oh, yes, I just wanted to mention that in Sierra Club's experience, when you ask for leftovers, they generally don't bring a bag. They bring you a container to put your leftovers in. And the use of bags, in our estimation, is not as great as one might think. There are opportunities to ask somebody if they want a bag and to charge them for it.
Thank you, Ms. Ainsworth.
Yeah, Mr. Pro Tem, let me make a comment now that I think she answered it, but you know, if you're going to a restaurant and you get, only way you're going to take food out of, if it's something that's left over, and they're going to put it into a container, probably a recyclable container. And then if you want a bag, I guess you could take a bag, but how many people are going to have, 4 or 5 containers when they leave the restaurant? I don't think it happens very often, unless at a restaurant like maybe at the diner, they sell donuts and cupcakes and stuff like that. But still, it's going to go into a recyclable container, and then if you want a bag, you could put it into a bag. So I don't see this cross-contamination thing at all, because I think a bag is just to hold the containers that they put the food into. I've never even worried about cross-contamination with any of my recyclable bags, because no food actually touches it, except, if I don't put a container, if I don't use a container. So I don't see the big deal. And if you want to charge an extra 5 or 10 cents, the restaurant industry, I mean, I don't think it's a great deal.
Thank you, Councilman DeWalt. Any other questions?
Mr. President, if I might, I just wanted ask if anybody has any proposals they would send them to the CA. We'll take a look internally here. I think there's a compromise, and I think again, we can if it all we want. The problem is, it's like my father, who's a senior citizen, 94 years old. When he gets carry out food, he gets a bag. So what we want to do is whatever bags they're giving out, we want to make sure that we do something right and what's best for the environment. And we'll talk internally and we'll bring some recommendations back to you. The other thing that I do want to acknowledge, because of some of the restaurants, Miss Blair went out and met with numerous businesses and restaurants and others and talked about our ordinance when we originally did this. Now, we would have had a fee on there, not necessarily coming back to the city, but at that time, it was considered a tax. And I think since the Sierra Club gave us a copy of the opinion from the AG, that's what has moved this. And we're going to do what's right. We're going to keep it a strong mandate. I think, that's important for this to get up and running. I know myself, sometimes I walk out from my car, I forget my recyclable or, my reusable bag in the car, and I'm just lazy. I don't want to go back and get the bag when I'm getting ready to check out. So I either buy a new bag, it seems like, or in these cases, it's been put into, a paper bag. But I do think there's some things we can look at internally, but I'd ask council members if they have concerns or ideas, if they would forward them to us. We'll try to put something together for the council. And I think even at work session, Mr. President, the administration did feel that number 11, the introduction tonight, number 12, might take a couple work sessions, quite frankly, to be able to council members talk to the community and other organizations on how they feel about this. But I do think it's a good piece of legislation, and I want us to work something out to be able to move it forward, move it in the right direction, and what's best for the community and environment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll follow up on that the Environmental Affairs Committee is having a special work session on these 2 ordinances, including number 12, so that we can submit a list of written questions to the CA's office as well. Are there any further questions or comments from the council?
Mr. Pro Tem, one other comment real quick.
Yes, Mr. DeWalt.
I saw where you got an email concerning the walkway at Tuckson Place.
Mr. DeWalt, we'll cover that in another time. Right now, we are on agenda item number 11 on
Oh,
ordinance.
okay. As soon as you're done with that, I'd like to make a comment on it.
No further questions on ordinance number 2008. All council members, please submit your questions in writing, and we will work and schedule this on a future work session. Next agenda item is agenda item number 12, introduction and first public hearing, ordinance number 2010, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland, to amend the Laurel City Code, Chapter 7, garbage, waste, weeds, recycling, etc., to include the mandatory diversion of organics from the waste stream and providing for an effective date. Ms. Blair, again, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. So again, at the work session, we introduced this legislation. We explained I explained the background, answered some questions. So I don't have anything further to add at this time, but I am here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Blair. Madam Clerk, I'll open the general public hearing on ordinance number 2010 at 6:57 p.m. Is there anyone signed up to speak?
No, sir.
All right, I will close the general public hearing at 6:57 p.m. Are there any questions or comments on ordinance number 2010?
Yeah, I just got a comment. I'm not against this ordinance at all. It's just that I know that if it's passed on the next council meeting, it goes into effect in July, and they start educating the community on January the 1st, 2024. Then on July the 1st, 2025, it'll be mandatory for all Laurel citizens to compost. I just feel that we should educate them before then, like before we pass this legislation. Start putting it out there, have at least 2 months educating the community that this is going to be taking place if it passed on January, whatever day we have. But January 1st is fine for me. But I think, we should educate the community some more on this legislation. Because once again, if we pass it next city council meeting, July 1st, 2025 is gonna be mandatory. So the more information we give them now, I think it's important. That's just my comments for this.
Thank you, Mr. Sidnor. Other questions or comments on ordinance number 2010?
Mr. President, if I might, we are trying to get the word out as much as possible. Hopefully, council can also help get the word out to when they're at business meetings or community meetings. I'm not sure, but we're gonna, try to do maybe something within the paper where it's just a. Michelle, are you all already doing that? Where we're doing an insert in the,
Yes.
which would go to every homeowner as well. And again, we felt that July 1, 2025 was enough time. If it's not, I think you should look at that. But I do think this is a very important step for the city. I do believe it has to go mandatory when we talk about composting. From a long-term standpoint, it is going to be crucial for the city to look at other ways, to bring income back in. It's a different rate than regular trash, those things, and it will require the city, to put out some money before we get, moving in whatever date that may be. But it is going to require a big educational piece, and it will require some, when we talk about fining people and others, there needs to be a grace period in there as we've done on other things. But I go back to the day when Mayor Robinson at that time did a mandatory recycling. It was confusing in the beginning, but we had a good program. And now look at it today, it's one of the best around in my view. So with that said, Mr. President, unless anybody has any questions, I'll thank you.
Yeah, I got another comment. I appreciate it, Mr. Mayor. I totally agree with you. But I just think still that once we come the 24th of April, it come to a vote. And then January 1st, 2025, July 1st, 2025 be mandatory. I just think I agree with you that it's our job as council members to go out and push it as well. We just came on a work session last week and now it's just the first hearing on it. I just think we need some more time to educate the community before we come make a vote on this. Because like I said, it's mandatory. I support it, but I just want to give community, got a lot of new residents that's moved in the city. And maybe, we can get it done maybe next month or something, but I think this too soon, to next week, give the community more time. This is my take.
If I might, Mr. President, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be the 24th. I believe it's going to take another couple work sessions, possibly until everybody feels comfortable, as well as getting the word out. So I think the whole point of this was to make sure that it was introduced. If we talk about this as a work session, hopefully the press will pick up on it as well. And then you start, what we're going to do internally and members of the council, including myself, out talking with others.
All right, okay.
I agree. I don't think it's the 24th. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think 24th is too soon. I agree with that. So.
Thank you. Other questions or comments on ordinance number 2010? Hearing none, we will move that to the future work session. Our final agenda item of the evening is to move to executive session. I've already read this statement once, but I will read it once more. The reason for adjourning to a closed session is to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. The authority for this closed session is contained in the general provisions of Article subsection 3-305B subsection 7. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion to go into a closed work session, executive session, Mr. President.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes, do we got to come back and close it out, or can we close it out now? We got to come
yeah,
back.
we'll have to come back to this
New
meeting
Zoom link? Okay.
afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. All right. Just want to make sure.
Okay. Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt. Okay, I think you left, and I believe it looks like Mr. Mitchell left already for the other meeting. So
I will vote yes. Council
Okay.
is adjourned to executive session.
Before we sign off, is somebody going to stay on this to keep it open, showing we're in executive session, Sarah?
yeah, I made Mr. Cornwell Shield the co-host, so it'll stay open.
Okay, all right, thank you.
See you in a minute. council meeting at 7:27 PM. Madam Clerk, can you please note the attendance of those that have returned to the meeting? With no further business on tonight's agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
I hear a second. All right, our meeting is officially adjourned at 7:27 PM. Thank you.